Welcome, everyone, to the Preschool All Stars podcast. I am your host, Joy Anderson, and today we are doing an exclusive training on how to make 1K in one day so that you can get everything paid for your preschool for free. What? How you can get Preschool All Stars, the Hub, and Preschool in a Box all paid without a single dollar leaving your bank account. How does that work, right? Let's dive into it, okay? I have like 3 trainings we're going to go through today, okay? One of them is resourcefulness. The next one is called 1K in one day, and the next one is called 7 students in 7 days, okay? They may be flipped. Anyways, today we're going to start with resourcefulness. And what I love about this is there's a quote from Tony Robbins, and he says, "It's not a lack of resources, it's a lack of resourcefulness." Now think about that for a second. Sometimes we might say in our head, I don't have enough money. I can't afford that, right? I wish that I could, but I can't. I wish I had more money, right? Things like that. Okay. That's okay. That's just because in the past, maybe we've become accustomed to saying things like that when maybe we wanted to go on that vacation. We wanted to buy that, furniture at the store. I wanted to go out to eat or go on a date. And at the time, we were really strapped with cash, right? I mean, we've all gone through that stage. However, we need to start changing the words that we think and say so that we can actually start changing our life. So if we continue to say the words, I can't afford that, I don't have any money, I don't have enough, things like that, we're literally going to just continue repeating the cycle, right? There's a quote that says, if you do what you've always done, you're going to get what you've always gotten, something like that, right? Same concept here. We have to change. And so I like to change that phrase. Instead of saying, I can't afford it, I want you to throw the word how in there. How can I afford it? Okay. I don't have any money. How can I make more money? Right. Instead of waiting for money to show up at in my bank account because I worked a job and somebody decided to pay me money for the amount of value they thought I gave them, right? Which was obviously capped. I can't ask my boss for a raise. So in that situation, it's like, well, I can't make any more money. Okay, that's an employee mindset. All right. We're going to change that today and we're going to dive into an entrepreneur mindset, which is a person's mindset who gets stuff done. They figure it out. They say yes and they figure it out later. So the very first one that I want to go through is called resourcefulness. All right. It's the idea of how can you use what you already have and be able to produce more from that so that you can be able to get money to pay for Preschool All Stars, Preschool in a Box, and Hub. So it's not a lack of resources. It's not a lack of money. Okay. It's a lack of resourcefulness. How are you going to spend your time to go make some money, right? Let's put us in the driver's seat of how much money we are going to make. Okay, I'm going to go through a bunch of examples in a second of people saying, hey, this is how I was resourceful and got money to pay for the programs in preschool system. And then I'm going to go into like a deep dive of all the different ways that you can, again, get more money so no money ever leaves your bank account. Okay. So that you can literally, and in some cases, many cases, you can actually get more than any of these programs even cost and get paid to even join. Okay. Here we go. So one of our preschool all-stars, Stephanie Neal, says, so all of these, by the way, these are examples of like what they did to be able to get the money, to make the money, to be able to join the program. So Stephanie Neal says that she has a baby shower to go to in the weekend. She typically would have paid $75 for her hair, $85 for doing the nails, and $45 for the toes. But she had her daughter do the hair. She put on press-on nails and painted her own toes, and she saved $205. She says, I can't even believe I was spending that much on everything every single month. Isn't that interesting that when we actually start putting our eye on what we're spending, we start to track it, and what you track, okay, whatever you measure is something that you can change, right? But if you're not tracking and measuring it, you don't know, right? You don't know where that money's going. Becky Williams Casas says, cooking is my thing. So I made $300 selling some Caribbean pastries. She even got a large order from Honolulu. Melita says, as we were talking about resourcefulness, she says, I'm calling up my family now. Okay. One of the things you'll learn about in a little bit is that you can actually, I wonder if I could chat with my family members and maybe there's a birthday coming up or a special event or a Christmas or a holiday. Okay. So we're going to talk about that in a second. Lacole says, so she got Preschool in a Box on the payment plan. And she says, when I was on the payment plan, I would walk through Target and I would pass up so many items that I wanted, saying, nope, to myself, I have my money invested towards something else, right? How many times do we walk through the store and, we go in there with an intention of what we need to buy, right? But then how many other items get in the cart that weren't on the list, right? So being more mindful of the things you're spending. Kita, I loved this one. We were doing a webinar once and I was talking about the same concept of resourcefulness. And she says, as I listen to you, I'm currently tagging my son's clothes, shoes, and toys to sell at a consignment shop tomorrow. I was like, yes, that is the energy I need. Please, that's an action taker. I love action takers. Okay. Tracy says, now, this one, I love what Tracy said here. And some of you are, if I read it out loud, you guys are probably going to feel this internal, like, oh my gosh. Okay, let me just read it. Tracy says, I stepped out and spent my mortgage on it. Now, before I read the next line, because if you're listening on the podcast, you're like, oh my gosh, what is the next line, Joy? Some of you may be thinking, like, I can't even fathom spending my mortgage money investing in something that I don't know if it's going to work out or not. Okay. I'm going to use 3 words with you. And those 3 words are up the stakes. Up the stakes. Some of us have become so comfortable with our life that we're like, oh, I tried this out. It didn't work. I'm just going to stop. Right. Okay. I'll tell you, when I was starting my preschool, I had 30 days to pay my mortgage. Period. I had no other option. I had to make it work. Now, I'm not suggesting you go take your mortgage money and go do this, but in Tracy's situation, she felt like that is what she needed to do to up the stakes, to step out on faith, to put all in God's hands, as we've heard several of our All-Stars talk earlier. When that calling came to them, and him saying, look, this is what you should do. And then everything is literally laid out for you. Like, here's the road to take, right? And it's like, will you trust in that? Also, will you up the stakes so that you don't give up? I think sometimes we dabble in things, right? Would you agree to that? We kind of like put our tiptoes in. We're like, I don't know. Let's kind of check this out. I saw a comment earlier from somebody who was like, I don't know. I'm going to check it out for a month. And then I don't know. We'll see what. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. I get that some people might think that, but like, go in with it in the intention of like, I'm going to do the thing, right? Like, we're just going to go do the thing. And then the next line says, I stepped out and spent my mortgage on it, and it came back. Okay. She was able to pay for her mortgage because she made more in our program. So Samiko says, I honestly didn't come up with the funds. And I really appreciate this one. She says, I just realized it was time to pour into me. So I took a leap of faith. Love that. Okay. I think as women, there's a lot of times where it's hard for us to, take that front, kind of take the front concept of like, okay, I'm going to go do this thing, right? And invest in ourselves. And typically the money goes everywhere else except for in ventures that we might want to do. And that's okay. But there are times that when we know that we've been called, it is time to pour into that dream. And she says, I took a leap of faith. Love that. Ruth says, my beautiful sister got my Preschool in a Box for me as an early birthday present. Okay, we're going to dive into all of these. Okay, here is, and as I share these, I want you to put in the comments your thoughts about, hey, I literally could do this. Okay. Like, this is not super far outside of my scope. Like, I'm actually thinking right now as I'm talking, I want you to start writing in the comments or write in a notebook What are some of these things you can literally do right now, to make your first $67 a month to get into Preschool All Stars? What are the things you could do right now to be able to get that first $200 payment, right, for Preschool in a Box, or pay it off for, the $1,000 that you had at 50% off, because it was 2,000, but you got it 50% off, right? Like, what things through this list could you do to be resourceful and get the money that you never had before? That's the point I want to come across to you. So many of us are like, oh, but I only have X amount in my bank account. It's all budgeted, it's all earmarked. There's, etc. And I'm saying to you, yes, but. Yes, but you can choose where that money goes. Okay. Yes, but you can make more money. Okay. And what if you made more money to be able to pay for these things? Then literally nothing leaves your bank account. I'm going to stop sharing for 1 second because I want to give you an analogy. Okay. This is the concept of tonight's live. This is the concept. Here we go. And I'm loving seeing these comments come through. Love this. Yep. So Linda just said parents' night out. And I said, yep, that's why we talked about it. Okay. I wish that I had $67 here that was like the exact amount, but it's not, because I was just like, I don't know. I don't have cash laying. Like, who's got cash? Not many people anymore. So I'm going to pretend like this is, 67 and 67. We'll just pretend. Here's my point. I'm going to give a super amazing, easy analogy for you guys to figure this out. Okay. So some people are over here and they're like, this, and this is what they do. They're like, oh my gosh, she wants me to take 67 of my dollars. Like, they have the $67 of their money right here. They're like, she wants me to give this money to her. And like, I don't know if this will ever come back to me. Does that make sense? You may be feeling that same thing. So like, in one hand, I have $67. Okay. Pretend. And the concept is like, but if I give it to her to join Preschool All Stars, I have now $0 in my hand, right? And I feel like a loss. I feel like I want that money back, right? Like, that was my money. Yeah. And so the concept of like handing over this money to join Preschool All Stars is because you view this as money earmarked for stuff. This goes to this goes to that, right? Is it really worth 67? I'm sorry. I just kind of have to laugh. Like, I can't even fathom anybody wondering if it's worth $67, because literally the program, literally just to jump into All Stars, is probably worth at least, like, I don't even know, $6,000 just to even get in the door. It's $67. Come on, guys. But regardless, I'm understanding what you're saying. And if you had the money in your hands, you're like, okay, but I want to hold on to it because I'm just not sure I'm going to get it back. Here's what I'm going to teach you to do. Okay. In your other hand, pretend like I just gave you $67. And I said, hey, guys, you have now more money than you did before. Now use the money in your second hand and go put that to join the program. You still have your current money. You have not lost any money. Does that make sense? This is the point of this training. I am going to teach you, okay? Sure, you may have your 67, your how much, your 1,000, your 2,000, whatever it is in your current right hand. And I'm going to teach you, hold on to that. Because over here, I'm going to teach you how to make more money in your other hand so that you can basically get into all of our programs for free. Okay. That's the idea. This is the mind shift of saying, I have a limited income. I can't make more money. And I'm like, whoa, entrepreneurs have no ceiling. You can make as much money as you put effort into. Okay. So thank you for listening to that analogy. Now let's dive back into it. And we're going to share that. I think we're good to go. We're sharing the screen. Sure hope so. Okay. Let's see here. Go ahead and just really quick, I know we're live, but in the comments, let me know that you can see me and the screen, and we're good to go. I'm just going to check the comments one more time. 3, 2, 1. Okay, great. You see both? Great. We're going to move on. Perfect. Okay, we are live. Here we go. Okay, here, like I said, write it in the comments. Put it in your notebook, okay? Number 1, resourcefulness. You can sell what you have, but you no longer need. You can sell your kids' clothes, shoes, and toys at a consignment store. That includes your clothes, your spouse's clothes, like anything around that you no longer need. Take it to a store and sell it, right? Sometimes we just like have all this stuff around us. Like we don't need it all. Like make some money on it, instead of having to just sit there. You can sell items online or on Facebook Marketplace. You can sell items in a yard sale from your garage, right? I mean, gosh, can we go through the garage and clear that out? Okay. You can go without now, so you can have more later. All right, let's talk about that. Like we talked about with Target, right? Going through a store and saying, oh, that's not on the list. And you know what? If I like, do I really need that right now? No, because guess what? That's going to actually add money to my budget, right? That's going to add money. Okay. Instead of continue to subtract, it's actually now adding it because it's still there. Okay. You can limit your eating out. Now, this one I especially love: cancel memberships you don't use. I think in the day and age of Hulu and Netflix and Pandora and Audible, list in the chat, like, what are the subscriptions you guys have, right? All the subscriptions we have, do we really get the worth of them for that month, or can we go without them for 1 month? You know what I mean? Like they're still there. If I cancel Pandora, right? It's still there for me the next month. Am I fine without it for a month? Yeah. What subscriptions can you cancel for a month, right? Literally. Like it's just one of those things. It's like, and I bet as you go through your list of like things that are automatically getting debited, you'll probably realize, oh man, I didn't even know that was on there. Shoot, right? I've been paying for that for 3 months. What a waste. So this is actually just a good practice for you to see where the bleed is. Think about your budget and like, is there anything bleeding in there that's like, why is that getting deducted? Like we didn't like, oh my gosh, that didn't get refunded or whatever, right? Let's see. Limit Starbucks. Okay, now I'm not a coffee drinker personally, but I think that coffee drinkers, you might drink coffee a little or a lot, and so depending on that, think about, is there maybe you can change your where you buy your coffee, or can you start limiting it a little bit, right? Like a little goes a long way when you do things consistently every single day. And I love this one. It says, limit getting your nails and hair done. My gosh, my daughter, 14, she wanted, what do you call them? I don't even know. Like, I literally have no nails. Acrylics. She wanted acrylics. And because all of her friends got acrylics. And so I was like, cool, but they're expensive. And number one, it's not just that you get them once. You have to, like, I think, I didn't even know the words, but I think you have to get like fillers in them or something. I know you guys are probably like laughing at me right now. But I was like, it's an ongoing thing. And I was saying to her, I feel like it's probably $80 a month just to get it one time. But then I think maybe every 6 weeks you might have to go get it filled. And so maybe that's another like 40 bucks. Anyways, we went there and it was like, I don't know, probably 80 bucks to get the set, right? To get them all on. And then, no joke, within a week, they were already starting to grow out. And she's like, oh my gosh. And it was still Christmas break. She's like, I'm going to show up after Christmas break and they're not even going to look that nice. And then, like, week 2, and she's like, oh. And then week 3 and 4, she's like, I just want these off. And I'm like, well, you could do the filler. She's like, but it's only 4 weeks in, right? And I'm like, well, yeah, you'd have to spend more money for it. And I think it was like $60 to do the fill thing or something. Anywho, she just came to the conclusion, she's like, that's not worth it, right? And if I'm doing the math, I don't know how much it actually is for like real nails or anything, but if it was like $100 a month, right, to get your hair and nails done, or maybe it's more than that, that's something to consider. Personally, I used to like go get my hair dyed and cut and everything like that, but honestly, since COVID, I have dyed my own hair for what, 5 years now. I have also cut my own hair, which I know, right? I mean, like, I'm going to give myself props for the fact that my hair doesn't look like a disaster, but I've cut my own hair since COVID. I never thought I could do that. And I have long hair and I've got layers and I have bangs, but I figured it out, right? So, like, I'm not saying go cut your own hair because sometimes I do feel like I did it wrong. But consider, right? Consider, okay, what you could limit getting done with personal hygiene stuff. Okay, cool. That was a really long run on thing. Here we go. Next, you can ask for a gift that will make you money. How many gifts have we gotten that were like, I don't even know what I got for Christmas. I don't even know what I got for my birthday 2 years ago, right? What did I get for my anniversary or my whatever, 5 years ago? How about actually getting something that will make you money? Wouldn't that be amazing? Yes, right? Okay, so a birthday gift. Many All Stars have asked for preschool in a box for their birthday. Also, let's see. Yeah, definitely in the comments, go ahead and post all of your awesome ideas that you have about things that you can save money or that you can soon. We'll talk about how to make money. Okay. So, literally getting a gift, no money is leaving your bank account, right? Like, that's amazing. Christmas present, Mother's Day. In our situation, when this is being filmed, Mother's Day is right around the corner. Okay. A gift from your husband. Okay. Let's see. Another way to do resourcefulness is to create multiple streams of income. Now, this is when we actually start talking now. How do we make money? All right. How do we make money? Number one, teachers pay teachers. Yes, it's a thing. And yes, you can make money on there. Okay. You can sell curriculum on there. Two, sell jewelry, sell handmade things, right? I love this one. We talked earlier about doing Spark. That's like Instacart or Uber or Lyft or DoorDash. Okay. If you have a car, you can make money, right? And you can do that with your kids in the car, literally with Walmart delivery. I think that's Spark or something. You show up, they stick the groceries in your car, you drive to their house, you drop off the groceries. You can do it with your kids, right? So all of a sudden, like, there's no longer this need to say, well, who's going to hire me? Who's going to pay me, right? Actually, just, how can I make the money? Because the options are out there. It's whether or not you're willing to do them. Okay. You can babysit, right? You can babysit for friends in the daytime or the nighttime. You can do a parents' night out. Okay. You can do some tutoring. You can sign up students and use that money or the registration fees. You can do a bake sale, right? And also, I'll do this one. You can get a job. Okay, there's these two I actually want to talk about. I'm going to flip them though. Have kids run a treat stand. This one is literally killer. You could do it in, I'd say this one will probably take you 3 hours. Okay, and you can make over $100 in 3 hours. So you take your kids to Dollar Tree. And I've done this so many times. If you have kids, it's perfect. Okay. If you got the teenagers, it's probably not going to fly so well. But if you got any small age kids, it works like gangbusters. And you promise them that after we have a fun time at the treat stand and making money and whatever, hey kids, I'm going to take you out for an ice cream. Or hey kids, you get to have the candy that's left over, or whatever you want to say. Okay. But you take them to Dollar Tree and you get the bags that have like 10 things in them, right? Like 10 pixie sticks or whatever. And you buy that and it's $1, right? Or maybe $1 something now, $1.25. Anywho, you buy like 10 of those. Okay. So what are you out now? $10. And you come home and you just get some little, I don't know, figure out you got a little folding table, something like that, or even your cooler, right? You take a cooler. By the way, back at Dollar Tree, I don't like lemonade stands, but I love treat stands with drink options. So at Dollar Tree, go get the little drink containers, like the little tiny little plasticky long things that if you pour them out right into a drink, it like makes it flavorful. Okay, I don't know what to call that. But anyways, they have really cool ones like root beer or orange soda or like all sorts of, I don't know, tropical something. I don't know what the words are. Um, but get those two, right? So treats plus those. Then you make a little stand and you got your little paper cups that you got from Dollar Tree and you say, okay, da 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 da, that's 25 cents. Those are 50 cents. The ring pops are $1, right? And you got 5 or you got 6 in a bag. So you're making money. The point is, you put your kids out, you next to them, obviously, on a corner, right? In a heavy area with a lot of traffic, in a little cute treat and drink stand, and you will have so many people coming over, not just to buy silly little things, but to tip your kids. I'm not even joking. My kids like made $100, I think, within an hour. Okay, so I'm giving you a buffer there because you got to go buy this stuff, right? It's like there was a cop that came by and I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to get shut down. And I think he handed them like a $20 bill, So don't say they get to keep the money because they're little kids. Say, hey, guess what? We're going to go buy some treats. And at the end, you get the treats, right? Like whatever doesn't sell or whatever you want to do. But there is no reason why you can't use that money to be able to start your preschool. Next, I'm going to put this one out there. It says, get a job. And y'all are probably like, oh my gosh, Joy, literally, I thought you're teaching us to be able to quit our job and start a preschool. Yes, but sometimes you still need money to live. Okay. There has been many times that I have gotten a job even while I've been doing this. Like literally in the last, I think, 6 years, I've gotten a job 3 different times. And you might be thinking, that doesn't make any sense. What does make sense is that I needed extra money during those times. Okay. And I took a job so that I could put money into savings, put money into retirement, get ahead in life, whatever it was, right? You may take a job on so that you can pay the bills, da 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 da. Stuff still has to get paid. Okay. We are not going to be homeless. We're not going to be like no food. All right. Still got to pay the stuff. So, yes, it's okay to take a job sometimes, right? I'm currently working a job right now. What? Wild, isn't it? But there's other reasons to get a job sometimes too. It's not just money. Sometimes it's emotional happiness, right? Being around people in my case, right? Anywho, getting a job is not a bad thing. Making some extra money, working something so that you can make some extra money with that, not a bad thing at all. All right. Sometimes we got to do what we got to do. Okay. The whole intention, though, is not just for the paycheck. The intention is to use your time while you have that job or the side money. Use your time to build something else so you can quit the job. Okay. That's the intention. It's never to stay stuck with that. It's to use the money and the time to build something else. Here we go. Next, borrow now and pay back later. Okay. Now, this one, you literally don't pay a dime of anything. And as long as you pay it back in 30 days, you don't pay any interest. Okay. Put it on a credit card. When I started my own preschool, I had a credit card with a $2,000 limit. Everything went on the credit card. And guess what that did to me? It upped the stakes. That means that I was like, oh my gosh, I need to pay that off in 30 days. I'm going to work my butt off and I'm going to do everything I need to do to get that money. It's a very interesting thing. When you have something, a deadline looming ahead of you, you will chase to make that work, won't you? Okay. Same concept. So, not a big deal, right? And even, let me ask you this, even if you had to pay the little tiny interest of what? I don't know, $50 a month, maybe it's $25 a month of interest. I don't know what it is. Okay. But the point is, go back to the point that when you join Preschool All Stars, we are going to walk you through 4 strategies on how to bring money in those first 30 days to pay for Preschool All Stars, Preschool in a Box, and Hub. And we're going through some of those things right now. We're going to keep going through them. Okay. So that's the idea, guys. When you invest in yourself and in us, we want to invest right back into you, right? Hey, here's all the strategies we give you so that you can go out and learn how to make all this money as well. Like that's what we want for you. We want you to be self-sufficient. We want you to be rolling 10x your investment, all the things, right? That we heard also from Kristen earlier today. Borrow from family, right? Many people have said, hey, oh my gosh, the doors to Preschool All Star are closing, but I don't get paid till Friday. They go call up a family member. They're like, hey, can you front me money till Friday? Yes. Awesome. Great. Thank you. Right. Get money from husband. Okay. Get money from other businesses. Many of you have other side hustles. I was listening to Kara earlier. She said she took her money from her online preschool and poured that into her local preschool, right? Get a credit card with a 0% interest for 6 months. Again, giving you that runway, give you the runway to be able to make this dream work. Okay. We all go at different paces, right? Okay. Budget what you already have. Some of us, I don't know when the third paycheck hits, but there's a third paycheck hits that hits every now and then. Grab that third paycheck. Okay. It's typically your monthly budget is like only 2 paychecks typically, right? So take that third paycheck and go grab your stuff that's actually going to make you money. This is not just a purchase. And I think that's what's hard is with sometimes we have this mentality of like, oh, I am, this money is going out the door because it's a purchase. So many things, everything in our life is basically a purchase, right? It literally is almost everything. Okay. Very few things are investments into ourselves, into our skills, our talents, into our mindset, right? Or into something that will produce more income in the future. That's where we have to get smart to say, hey, let's actually put our money into something that's going to grow, right? Okay. The tax return. It's April, tax returns coming right around the corner. Okay. Meal prepping. Okay. You can say, all right, you know what? Typically, if I don't prepare my food, I know that I'm going to eat out on that day. I'm going to order this for that day. I'm going to have to take the kids out for this day because I'm not ready and we're rushing home from soccer practice and everybody's starving and I didn't prepare, dot, dot, dot. Or we can meal prep and we're actually going to find that we're saving money through that way as well. You can also put money aside for it little by little. Oh my gosh, we had one of our amazing all stars message me and she says, since I got your book, I have been putting money aside in a box underneath my bed. And I think it was about 2 months. So she said, this was my dream. And for the past 2 months, I have been putting money away. And my husband knows it's in a box under the bed and I will not touch it. And it was specifically for this purpose. Okay. So putting money aside little by little. So I hope that you can see with resourcefulness, you truly are the one who's in control. You can decide how much money am I going to make? How am I going to spend my time? Right. And again, with Tony saying it's not a lack of resources, it's a lack of resourcefulness. So go be resourceful today. And if you haven't already, join Preschool All Stars at preschoolallstars.com.